Hello and welcome everyone. I see the nameplates are switched, but hope you are able to understand that I'm Amarjeet and that is Ganesh. All right. So in recent years, what we have noticed is that there is a massive transformation the way businesses are seeing the consumer insights. Now, every data, no matter what format it is in, structured, unstructured, semi-structured, it plays a key role in deriving consumer insights. Now, the idea is the traditional systems that we have on the name of data analytics, they typically struggle with different formats. And that's where generative AI shines. Now, it helps us understanding data in different formats. It helps us driving value out of it. It helps us creating better insights from those systems. With generative AI, experiences are more natural in the conversations. You have different modalities. You can deal with text, you can deal with voice, you have images as the modality available. So that's where we understand that an intelligent enterprise, whom we are talking about, who understand their customer needs, has to cater to these norms. Now, before we move to that, let's try and understand what do we mean essentially by an intelligent enterprise. It's very simple. The concepts are very simple. They need to have understanding of their consumers, and they need to know how do we engage with the customers, right? Now, to get the understanding of their consumers, you typically got to understand their behaviors. You need to understand their buying patterns, their preferences. And in fact, you also need to understand why consumers are buying competitor products, right? Because that will give you an edge to understand what they're doing right, what your competitors are doing right. Once you have this understanding, you can now engage with the customers with right set of data or right set of channel. So you can reach out to them on social media, through phones, through chat, different modes, right? With all this in place, now how do we build a system that does all this I said? How do we understand this information? How do we engage with our customers is the key for an intelligent enterprise. Now, that's where I bring in the experts with me today to help us understand what are the key challenges when we talk about building such an intelligent enterprise.
Thanks, Amar. Good afternoon, everyone. So as we know, data is at the heart of insights. And reliable data is extremely important for meaningful insights. So that's where the first challenge probably I'll talk about is around the siloed nature of data, right? And when we talk about siloed nature, in enterprise, we call it like a data puddles, which could be like customer data, transaction data, marketing data, sitting in all different places. We cannot really harness the power of that to get some meaningful insights. So that is the primary one. This gets further constrained by what I call it the 3 V's, that is the volume, velocity, and variety. Volume, what is that, right? So especially with the continuous digitization of every enterprise, the amount of data that's coming in is extremely more, and also coming at a huge pace, both in terms of inbound as well as in terms of how we need to consume it at a real time, essentially, right? And also from the variety standpoint, there are so much of data coming in, either first party, which enterprise generates, as well as second party like Stylumia that comes in and provides additional information, as well as third party data. So we should have an ability to capture everything to derive real insights. So to overcome that, one of the key elements is to create this modernized, unified data platform, which can enable us to get us towards holistic insights. That's number one. Number two is, hey, we have this holistic data. Now, to make a meaningful meaning out of it, we need to ensure that we have the trust in the data, ensuring the quality of the data. So that is the second challenge, right? So to overcome that, we need to have a robust data governance in place to ensure that there is a clear accountability of every data that is coming in or being consumed. And more importantly, there is a clear single source of truth across enterprise. That's number two. Number three is great. Yes, I have all data together and I have a quality data. But the third also thing is, how can I translate the data into valuable insights at speed and scale? So that is the third element there. So this is where AI comes into play, wherein, okay, hey, it's not just only going to create those insights, but which is more meaningful and valuable for either for customer in terms of customer experience or associate experience, or for actually business top line and bottom line.
Great. Thank you for those insights. So now that we understand, right, what are the challenges, what is needed, let's understand what are the key factors which are responsible for building such an intelligent enterprise to have these consumer insights which we're talking about.
Yeah. Just to take over from what Vasanth mentioned just now, I just want to start by what is intelligence and where does it lie. So lots of businesses today sit with their own data. When they say I'm processing a lot of data, and if you heard Vasanth, it's multi-dimensional data that we are talking about. One is whatever you have is as good as your market share. I ask enterprises this question saying that, how big is your market share? And people say, I take data-driven decisions that if your market share is, let's say, 10%, and that's the intelligence you have. That's very contextual, but it's very important. But where does the rest of the intelligence lie? It lies outside the organization, which is the consumer is interacting with your market, and you are one of the market players. So how do you first enhance this knowledge? You need to also bring in, apart from your own data, bring in data from outside the market, which I call a holistic market intelligence. If I had to give a simple analogy, you're sitting in Bangalore and there is a cloud over the skies, and suddenly, can you predict whether it will rain 1 week from now using the cloud on top of you? You cannot. You have to zoom out. Imagine that is the cloud, the data that you have, which is the cloud over Bangalore. If I just zoom out and come back and say, okay, Bay of Bengal, there is cloud intensity is increasing, the direction it's moving, it's towards Bangalore, therefore Bangalore might get more rains. Now, equivalent of that is, you really need to zoom out and collect data of the market. Now, just one more point to that, just collecting data doesn't help. And data is the raw material for AI, and Vasanth very clearly mentioned the quality and reliability of this data is important. And market data is full of noise, because market data is what's on the shelf. But what you really need to know is what's in the basket of the customers. Now that needs AI, and that's what we do at Stylumia is, how do you collect this holistic data of the market relevant for enterprises and bring a consumer lens to it? Can you convert all of this digital shelf into digital basket and provide data contextually relevant for the enterprises so that they can take informed decisions on areas like, for example, what are the white space opportunities for us, which will help us grow? What are the items which are not performing in the market I also carry, should I drop it? Which will increase the bottom line, which will improve your inventory. So impact your business key outcomes using holistic data is something that I would suggest that people consider. The only thing things get complex, and I would like maybe at some point in time Vasanth to address, is how do you manage all of these data streams and make enterprises users to take decisions and also bring valuable proposition to the customers.
So now, and by the way, thank you for that eye-opener about that cloud example. Let's understand how AI can actually help us beat all these challenges and build on top of these key factors that we're talking about.
Sure, Amarjeet. Let me pick up one use case, the voice of customer, to be able to do justice to the role of AI and the impact it can create. And we'll try and address some of the problems that Vasanth brought out, right? Like clearly data isolation or silos, then the quality of the data or the truth in the data, and then the kind of level of insights or the level of value that it can create. So if I just pick voice of customer as an example, how today AI is truly being the eyes and ears of all the customer behaviors, right? It can pick up every touch point, every analysis. And when I say voice of customer, I don't just limit it to customer, but partners, vendors, suppliers, any of these. The ability to look at all of this data and bring out the truth, which is where it lies, and not necessarily from the derivatives or the dispositions that have gone into CRM. So right from there, starting to bring the truth of the data, and then the ability of this data to the truth that has been derived, tying up with the 360-degree of information that's rest of it there to draw insights where you're avoiding the risk of these silos, to be able to draw insights by taking this voice of customer truth, tying with the rest of it, should truly help draw some insights. And if I pick up the very foundation of any AI architecture, is the hyper automation that it brings with it. So just in this example, the way we are solving, if we take the 3-step approach where at first you are drawing some very true insights that you need, which is then leading into a very prescriptive, actionable events, and then getting into an autonomous agent. So the very nature of AI is enabled to take you through this journey and hence be able to address the 3 key issues that you brought.
Perfect. Thank you for highlighting those 3 key pillars here. Now, we understand the challenges, we understand what is needed, we understand the role of AI. Now, I think we have enough foundation to build actually a modern data architecture on top of it, so that we can convey the key message here.
So when we talk about the insights, right, like how exactly those insights are consumed. So there is a maturity around it. I would call it like probably in 4 stages, right? From a business standpoint, the first level as a foundational level is getting insights through some of the canned reports or dashboards and so on and so forth. And the second evolution is towards getting through self-serve, or basically what we call it no code, and get that self-serve analytics essentially. And third is kind of aided by like machines, essentially like co-pilots and so on and so forth. And last is completely algorithmic. Now, how do we actually like get that modern architecture which can support this, right? So first one, whether even if I'm at the foundational level, what is critical is some of those key challenges or something which I spoke about earlier. Having that unified platform and getting the holistic insights is extremely important to even get to that foundation level. At the same time, the second, when I'm going to get into the self-serve analytics, what is additionally needed is also ensuring abstraction of all the tech elements of the data, which is ensuring that, okay, hey, how can I build something like a semantic model, wherein, okay, the business can easily drive some of the business objects, whether it's being dimensions or metrics, how can I easily use them without needing to worry about the tech complexities underneath and derive insights out of it. Now, getting to the third level, which is where like when I'm going to do more like a aided or co-pilot level, that's where again AI is going to play an extremely important role. Specifically, Gen AI is going to play a specifically important role in getting that smart insights, which is required for either operational, day-to-day operations, all the way to very strategic decisions which business need to take around it. And last but not the least is the completely algorithmic way of getting or consumption of insights, which is largely driven by the machines themselves. And the role a business user can play there is ensuring that traceability and explainability of those decisions, so that, of course, we are at a very nascent stage of the evolution of this technology. So this would be extremely important for somebody to still keep an eye on, to ensure that the decisions are indeed like not just creating value, but also being, like what do you say, sustainable and so on and so forth as well.
Any take you guys have on this?
I think from our own personal experience that I can share, that ability to just do all of that Vasanth said, when we were doing it right on the private cloud of the customer, behind the firewall, we were able to see all these 3 values being delivered, not just with the data privacy and security, but ability to access a lot more of the contextual data, what would be required for a vertical AI platform like us. And more importantly, driving the kind of performance that wasn't touched upon, which would be very critical as this hyper-automation comes into picture.
Yeah. I just want to share, I was in Bay Area just 2 weeks back. We had a nasscom trip there. One of the key things that I took away from the entire US trip was only one thing, which is your mindset. The mindset that I saw there was any new technology when it starts, it is never perfect. I'm sure how many of you heard that LLMs are hallucinating, I have a problem, how do we increase the reliability, dependability? Just raise your hands. Yeah, that's the point of any new technology, right? And one thing I saw there was when a technology shows promise, place a bet, right? Be optimistic, because there are so many intelligent humans in the world that they will accelerate this process and it will happen. Now, I was talking to Vasanth and companies like Lowe are adopting technology, everything that you can see, we see real life applications in that organization. Now, what does it take for organization to actually adopt at this stage, go through with that process of making it perfect? And if somebody is waiting for perfection, what will happen is you'll miss the bus. It's not about technology. The change management in enterprises to adopt technology and see business outcome, it's a long time. It's not about just technologies available off the shelf. The adoption of these technologies is going to take time. And if you are delayed and waiting for perfection, you miss the bus by a significant distance. Maybe 1 to 2 years is my estimate. So that's a mindset angle to it. Now, from what we do, we see a future. I think you should see this video if you have already not seen. NVIDIA Earth 2.0 video, the 2-minute video, which is a vision of how NVIDIA is helping weather predictions and forecasts from the current fidelity of few hundred meters to 20-meter accuracy anywhere in the world, anywhere on Earth. Now, that's the kind of power that we want to provide enterprises with laser-sharp, holistic intelligence, like a satellite on the top, looking at the Earth, looking at your market as the Earth, and giving you those intelligence, which you can embed with the enterprise intelligence today and create business outcomes.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing that story with all of us. So if I would try to sum this all up, right? When you're building an intelligent enterprise that deals with awesome customer insights, what you're looking for essentially is a silo-free data, which is a unified data ecosystem, correct? So that you have all the insights, you have right data at right time, and in fact, expanding it beyond your own data and going to the competitors' data, not just looking at your own cloud, but looking at the sky, so that you understand the complete picture. Now, once you have all this data and you're processing it with AI, create a hyper-personalized experience. Now, it could be in text, image, or any other modality, voice, could be anything. Reach out to your customers, engage them in the perfect way, and now you can all stitch these together in a data architecture which is built to scale, which is built to adapt to rapid market changes, and create a perfect experience for your customers. So I think these are the foundations of this enterprise which we wanted to cover in the session today. Thank you all for patiently listening to us and giving us your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a time for a question or so? Maybe we have 2 minutes.